Previously, on Driver versus Driver, 16 designers arrived in Chicago, where they met the judges and their competition. Each got the opportunity to pitch their driver design, and while some rose to the occasion,
the driver features 3 extraterrestrial technologies.
I mean, you've used words that I didn't even think were even in the dictionary.
You're not the only one.
others left the judges scratching their heads.
I gotta ask you, the no sex part just totally throws me for a loop.
Some even crashed and burned.
Have you ever heard someone say, I'm just hitting the ball way too far? Me neither.
Oh, man.
I think that's gonna be a hard sell.
How much thought did you really put into this?
The season's first W was given out, advancing the youngest designer, Tim Slama, directly to the next round.
Awesome.
Yeah, I guess they liked it.
Joining Tim was Jeremy Chell and his Launchpad design, Brooklyn's Alan Zadeh, San Diego-based industrial designer Evan Hoffman, and Jimmy Huynh, who led Team Long Beach to a third-place finish in the first season.
Samantha, I'm sorry you missed the cut.
3 designers weren't so lucky. Samantha Smith's short journey ended, as well as Team Storm's Hank and Victor. Only 2 spots remain in the next round. Who will survive the cut? Find out next on Driver versus Driver.
Designers, as you can imagine, this is hard for us. There are 5 designs that we've already put through and room for only 2 others.
It got serious real quick. And I think that was the first time where we were like, okay, it's kind of on now, you know?
Among your 6 designs, there are things that we like a lot and some things maybe not so much. After talking through it last night with our Wilson engineers, we think some of your designs might be better if you combine them with each other.
The surprise when we went up on stage caught us all off guard.
The first thing we need to stress is that you don't have to combine. If you're confident with your idea and want to stand on your own, that's fine. The Wilson engineers feel a couple of your designs might actually advance on their own merits. But for some of you, the chance to advance will increase a great deal if you do join forces.
What means this team up?
We have identified 3 potential pairings. Each of you will now watch the presentation of the design that we feel best complements yours. Afterwards, you will determine if you want to pair it up or go it alone. Keep in mind that both of you have to say yes in order to form a team.
The judges told us, you guys may have great ideas, or you may not be slightly better.
All right, designers, thank you very much. You can go join the rest of the contestants in the holding area.
Maybe I'm back in the running here. Let's see who I'm paired up with, and if it makes sense, then maybe I'm still on the show today.
The first 2 designers forced to make a decision are Tim Swiss and Chris Adams.
You walk up, you look at the computer monitor, and you see, in my case, Chris doing his presentation. At that point, I looked at his model in the conference room there, but not really understood like what his concept was.
There's a lot of ways you can accomplish moving center of gravity and moments of inertia to get the adjustability that you want.
He went through it and just made a decision.
You know, I liked him. Tim and I got along. We talked a lot. I liked his design. I liked his presentation. When I finally saw it.
It's called the Widowmaker, and what it does is it utilizes an adjustable weighted arm that pivots on a ball mount. So what this means is that you can position the weight on the club and distribute it on the X, Y, and Z axis, all from a single mounting point.
And I thought I could just do it myself.
Our first prospective team, Chris Adams and Tim Swiss. Chris. No.
With the things that Rick and Tim said that I needed to improve on, I figured that I could certainly do it myself.
Tim. No.
Chris, Tim, Could you just articulate your positions for the three of us?
You know, I think Chris offers some very complementary skills in his background. When I came into this competition thinking it would be on my own, and I just wanted to keep going through that way. It ended up being like a more difficult decision than I thought it was going to be. I kind of went up there and thought, I came to do this by myself. Like, why would I drop all that at the very first sign of elimination?
I loved Tim's presentation and his driver concept. You know, the feedback I got from you guys yesterday was that you liked my primary feature of design, the internal stiffening ring, but had some concerns about the secondary feature, you know, the adjustable weights, and also the marketability of my driver. And I think those are two things that I could do on my own and improve on my own, so that's why I chose.
I mean, it was nothing against Tim, but luckily Tim said no too, so I didn't feel too bad. I would have felt really bad if I would have said no, and he would have said yes.
Did splitting the money have anything to do with your decisions?
Absolutely not.
Yes, I mean, the money's good, right? But the prize is the driver.
Didn't hurt.
Okay.
I felt pretty confident at that point, but I felt good about my chances.
Next up are Peter Dreyfus and J.D. Hefferon.
Very surprised that I was paired with Peter, whose driver also seemed to resemble a square shape.
My design is unique. It looks novel. It looks like nothing you've seen before in a driver.
It would have been very hard to put something together. This allows you to deliver the largest effective hitting area.
I liked it, and I thought it was good, so I'm not sure where it actually went. And then obviously we're not allowed to discuss too much, so I think in the end we all had the same mindsets where we were torn.
JD. No.
I didn't see our designs meshing, but I just felt like our designs were too different to be put together.
Peter. No.
I had a square head driver design, and I liked it. I didn't want to be a lead weight on his idea.
Peter, why did you say no?
I didn't want to have an impact on his ability to go forward or not. Well, what's the worst can happen? The worst would be is we make a team and I go home and I wonder if I was the one that caused us not to advance as a team.
Last up is the only duo left in the competition, Juan and Walter, who have the opportunity to be paired up with Chardon, Ohio's Scott Hack.
I saw his design for the first time. He had in the top of the crown something particular similar to our design.
Unique speed channels allow the air to work with you and not against you, and its stacked head design provides a wider sweet spot and offering a more versatile, strategically placed weighting system through the impact zone.
So I watched the video and I looked at it and I thought, boy, they got a great design. These are two guys that I could work with.
When I watched him in the computer, I thought that why not? Maybe we can put together our ideas with his ideas to create a better driver.
The next prospective team, Juan and Walter, and Scott Hack.
I'm thinking they're gonna say no, because they think they can go at it alone.
Juan and Walter, yes.
For me, it was always a yes. He's a great guy.
The speech was very good.
With
the
his
speech was very good.
That was my feeling, no? For me, it was a yes immediately.
Scott. Yes.
Wow. Wow.
We have a team.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
They said yes, and I thought, wow, okay, we got a team.
Scott, Juan, and Walter, you are the only designers who decided to team up. That means you will have an hour to work with Wilson engineers to figure out how you might best merge your design concepts.
Okay, thanks.
The only designers with a second chance to impress the judges, Scott, Walter, and Juan, Spend the next hour brainstorming with Wilson engineers to rework their drivers and create a new presentation. If they fail to make an impact on the judges, it could mean the end of the line for all three. But if successful, they could put themselves one step ahead of the other designers. What took months to create must now be rethought in just 60 minutes.
No, but you know, it's not gonna be a big dip like this. It's like
I am saying about just if it isn't this way.
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
Before we went into the room, I talked to Juan and Walter, and I said, "What did you like?" And we went over a couple things, and I found out they liked the stacked head design, using a more 3-wood approach for a contrast alignment. And I explained to them that a heel and a toe hit on that stacked head isn't as bad as a heel and a toe hit on a driver. So if you're focused on that, that's a better way to go.
Do you like this look at all in the back?
Yeah, we can finish like this.
If he can explain a little what we're going to go with his project and our project, and we just keep a few things here there, maybe the judges like that, and I hope we keep moving forward.
Yeah, it's good.
It was a stressful moment, but we're thinking very positive.
Scott, Juan, and Walter, you had a chance to meet with Wilson engineers. You now have 1 minute to tell our judges how your drivers might work together.
Obviously, I don't have a traditional design, and they do. That's one of the things that we want to utilize. The two things we want to get rid of is we want to get rid of the speed channels located on the heel and the toe. We want to get rid of those altogether, but we want to keep the speed channel in the sole of the club, but make it more subtle. We don't want to have it so deep, but just a subtle speed channel, and it creates a little concavity as it goes towards the face of the club as well. The other thing we're going to keep the 3-wood head design on the top as a contrast alignment. Many people can hit the 3-wood. Some people have trouble hitting the driver. This will help them align it better at address. So those are the two features we're going to keep. We're going to keep the sole speed channel, and we're going to keep the 3-wood contrast alignment head design that just subtly filters into the face of the club. The one thing they have is really cool, in addition to their lines and their features in their club head, is their hosel design. It's unique, it's novel, and it's something I didn't think of.
We have to stop you down. Your time's up. Judges, what questions do we have?
The appendage on the top, is that something you guys plan to try to keep or withdraw?
No, we remove it. The air intake, we have to remove it, change it for the 3-wood head. I think it's gonna be a good addition because I think it's keeping a similar look, but
yeah, the features I have are like features on steroids, you know,
Yeah.
and we're gonna calm that down, and we're gonna make it subtle.
yeah.
One of the questions, guys, is the top crown. You talk about the 3-wood head shaping is only a visual for alignment, or are you keeping the extra head design on top?
Well, it's subtle. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit raised, but not raised to this degree. So it's gonna filter into the face just subtly, but from the top, it's gonna look like it has more of a presence.
Yeah.
One question just for clarity for me is on the 3-wood shape. So are you saying like where you currently have it, I get it, I see it, although it expands. Are you gonna be continuing that characteristic in the club? Like two-tone on the line to identify the 3-wood, although it'll be a driver CC?
But not as dominant. They have more of a matte finish with the black, and that's what we're gonna include on the 3-wood, and then carbon fiber.
Thank you.
There are 2 spots.
Yeah.
Or we make it, or we just go home.
Judges, you know we have room for only 2 designs to move on to the next round.
Elimination time once again. We're like, oh my goodness. You know, elimination, it's something that's super stressful.
Peter, JD, we gave you an opportunity. We thought both designs had a lot of merit together. You both elected to take your journeys alone. And based on the judges' agreement, you both have missed the cut.
So that got 2 off right off the bat.
I didn't see our designs meshing, and that's just the choice I had to make. I feel like I gave it my best, and it's just not what Wilson wanted.
It's a great experience. I mean, it's really interesting to be a part of a big production like this. I have to make sure that when I present an idea, I have to make sure it's presented with all of the background so that people don't jump to a conclusion or see it in a way that I'm not intending it.
Scott, Juan, and Walter, you guys obviously decided to team up and bring the ideas together. And you had limited time to change what was good and what was bad, potentially, about the products. We had an idea, and we were happy that you teamed up, because we feel you've got benefits from both sides. What you've brought to the table so far is exciting. We feel it can definitely go further. And for that reason, guys, your journey continues, and you're through to the next round.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good job.
Welcome to the team.
It was a complete relief. It was like, it all depends for a few seconds if you are going to keep moving forward or not. It's a stressful situation.
I kind of led the charge a little bit as far as what's being included and what we're dropping off. I always wanted to take it to the next level, and this is the next level.
Tim and Chris, when we got together earlier to go over all the designs, the 3 of us actually picked out your 2 ideas that were involved in your designs. And actually, the first thing that we thought was your 2 ideas combined probably would have moved to one of the favorites of winning this competition. To our surprise, our big surprise, you both said no. And seeing that there's only 1 spot left, unfortunately, one of your no's has led to your elimination. The design that's moving on to the next round is Tim Swiss. Congratulations.
Congrats, man.
Congrats. Congrats.
Good, man. So you feel bad for him because that's going to be his last time on the show, but at the same time, it's just a little bit of a weight off your own shoulders.
There's only one winner in this competition, and 13 of us had to lose. I mean, you kind of come into this thinking, you're going to get eliminated at some point, and so it was my time.
It's a competition, so somebody's got to go. As long as it's not you, it's good.
Designers, for those of you who have made it on to the next round, congratulations and good luck the rest of the way. And for those of you who did not make the cut, thank you for being part of Driver versus Driver.
After a month at home and staying in constant communication with Wilson engineers, the designers were welcomed back to Chicago and granted access to Wilson Labs, a hub of innovation where their changes and tweaks will begin to take shape.
Wow. Yeah. This is awesome.
First reaction was it doesn't look like any other design lab I've ever been in.
That's cool, man. Yeah.
Impressive. It smacks you in the face. As soon as you walk in and you see the labs and you see,
all the technology.
Yeah, all the technology.
All the equipments, to measure, to test everything there is, wow.
It's cool walking into Wilson Labs, seeing everything. Brought back so much memories, and it felt amazing being back in there.
Let's get to work.
Well, designers, congratulations. You've made it to this point. A real accomplishment. Half of the designs have gone home and half of them remain. So give yourselves a round of applause.
I was very anxious to meet and, get going. I kind of wanted to sort of find out, what's going to happen throughout the day, what's the plan.
Today, we're going to bring in some consultants that are experts in the field that we feel will be of big value to helping you attain your goal of making the best driver in the world.
Who are they going to get picked to get better than Jeremy Roenick? Michael Jordan or something? I don't know.
Designers, our first consultant comes to us from the academia world. He holds a PhD in applied mechanics. He is also a holder of the prestigious National Medal of Technology Award. Please welcome Dr. Peter Dewhurst. Our next consultant comes to us from the world of retail. He is the Vice President of Pro Line Equipment for Golftown, Canada. Please welcome Jeff Pinero. And our next consultant comes to us from the world of design. He was the winner of Season 1 Driver vs. Driver, somebody you probably all know. Please welcome Eric Sillis.
Last season's winner, Eric Sillis, an industrial designer from Cincinnati, has returned to the exact spot where he carried out his vision and took home a life-changing $500,000.
It's super intuitive for everyone to use, so you're hitting the sweet spot every single time.
He'll offer some advice to the designers to help them on their journey, but will the designers hear him out?
Seen him on TV, and for the past few months I've been hoping I can be in his shoes, and now getting the opportunity to meet him and hear what he has to say. Hoping that'll be me someday.
All right, Jeremy, you're up first.
Hi. I wanted to come up with a really forgiving face design that retains a lot of ball speed on off-center strikes.
The one thing that I was a little curious about is what's under the hood, what his product is, and there's no weighting system once the crown comes off the driver. I was a little bit confused by that.
There was a whole lot going on there. He seems like he just needed some focus and just to clarify his whole concept.
I love the idea of removing, part of the club. That's a part of the thing that, is a part of the Triton design, and so I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
The one thing I would really want to make sure that you have a good answer for, maybe you could even shine some light on, is what's happening inside there. So if that's where you're doing weight adjustment, what's actually happening?
For a real gearhead like me, that would give you a lot of flexibility for, yes, weight adjustment, probably through the use of lead tape or a hot melt. It could also aid the manufacturing process, so it doesn't necessarily have to be produced with extra hot melt. Lots of flexibility there for weight adjustments, but then further benefits for the acoustics, how the club is going to sound when you strike it. Finally had an opportunity to get some feedback from the experts.
Yeah, I think whatever is in there just needs to be intuitive. I think there's some people who are tinkers, people who are experts, but the typical golfer, they need to make sure that if they're going to start adjusting things, it's something they aren't intimidated by, but feels approachable.
Let me just say a couple of things about the slots. You can see through them.
Yeah,
and
that's
there's a cantilever hanging over there. So I was simply going to point out that the USGA equipment rules say no through holes or slots, so
yes,
that would have to be filled if it's there.
So Peter, he did warn me that it's likely not USGA compliant. I was already aware of that, kind of already working on ideas for a workaround there.
Not sure the idea of adding lead tape after purchasing a driver that costs $400 or $500 and having to buy tape to stick inside is really the way to go there.
Okay.
But if the weight ports there was something adjustable inside so that you could undo it. How awesome would that look in a retail space? You could see inside the driver, see the adjustability here.
He thought that it could benefit from perhaps a cleaner look, and I should consider moving some of the fasteners around so they don't appear on the top side of the crown.
Scott, Juan, Walter, come over and tell us all about it.
Feel pretty confident about what we have. I think we're hitting all aspects of what this product can do and how it can help the golfers out there.
So it's great that you came together, because that tells me you're a very good industrial designer. And if you can get this aerodynamics working and other things on that club that we're going to talk about, then I think between you could put something together that is really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a special hosel that this hosel can adjust
and go lengthen up to 1 inch.
There's certain things that we kind of expect now when we're looking at high-end drivers, but we want to make sure that we're really pushing the boundaries of custom fitting and what can we add to that story in store. I think maybe only having 1 additional length might be the way to go. I'm not sure the 1/4 inch would be quite as effective for some golfers, but I think a standard length and then a 1 inch or 3/4 inch adapter would be the great way to go.
That's gave me some confidence, and I feel like we are aiming in the right directions.
While many of the ideas in this competition started in an office or a sketchbook, Juan and Walter's idea and friendship both came to life on the driving range.
I was teaching in the range. Juan stopped by for a checkup.
I was looking for help because I got a lot of problems playing golf.
I give a lesson to him. We start fixing the basics. I start helping him. He told me about this contest and if I can give some good ideas and we can make a team, and we start from there.
He's a good partner because he has worked for different brands in the golf industry, so he knows a lot about what is the difference, how make it better. He's a guy who has the knowledge about golf, about the club fitting, and that's the information that I need to create a better version of my driver.
We have a great communication and we start building some new heads, trying some new features. It went very good from the beginning.
Evan, why don't you come down and let's review your design.
His idea is very interesting. There's this frame that he wants to be made out of titanium and a lot of carbon fiber pieces attached into it, which makes it lighter weight.
When I first saw this driver, I loved the appeal. It has a great shelf appeal to it. It's got a lot of visual technology, which is one of the things that consumers are looking for. Certainly is something different than what I'm currently using, and how is this going to help my game. I do like what you've done, what you've started with here. I think it does look, it's fairly intuitive. I do like the components that you've added here, so well done. I think you're on the right track.
Thank you.
Evan, I'd just like to look at the undercut on the sole there and make the point that there would have been material up here and it's all been pushed down there.
The loft weight is a little too high, is a little too close to the crown, which ruins the moment of inertia. So one of the experts told me to lower that loft weight, that carbon fiber insert, down towards the sole, and that way I'll get that moment of inertia back.
But what is this carbon fiber panels that are attached to it?
Yeah, so everywhere where there's negative space or the cavities in the titanium would be carbon fiber inserts that would be glued into the frame.
That's great. I think the big challenge you're going to run there is it's just a lot of secondary operations in manufacturing. It's something I ran into. The best part is you're working with a world-class team at Wilson, so work with them to figure out how to have it, everything stay a hold and not kind of shatter when it hits. But I think if you can figure that out, there's a really great idea there.
I would have never thought about putting the weight in the center when I was really focused on getting the weight to the perimeter of the club, but I didn't think about that in all planes and all axes. And now that I can move that loft weight down to the sole of the club, it's going to be a great advantage for my driver.
Jimmy, my man, come on over.
I went up there. It was really exciting to tell them about my driver. I was really excited about it. And honestly, I wanted to hear what they had to say.
Well, Jimmy, adjustability really is a key component of driver fitting and of drivers. And this is something that current state, it's not something that is overly new. I mean, it's something that we've seen in the past to be able to adjust back and forth. But I really think that the ability to fit here is a little more limited than some of the other ones that we've seen.
Thank you.
Is there a carbon fiber piece on the bottom?
Yes, there is.
The sole? What's that for?
So carbon fiber, we're trying to reduce weight. And what that is when you want to reduce weight, you can move the weight that you save into positions that will actually benefit the user more. So I have a lot of weight-saving aspects in the driver. There's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done, like they said, but it's all normal to me. It's all hard work, and it's nothing that I shy away from.
Alan, why don't you come down and let's talk some drivers.
Thank you.
Alan's is very interesting. I think the whole idea of precision based on watchmaking is an interesting perspective, and it really goes into the whole analytical feel and minute adjustment that's really common in the marketplace right now.
Well, when I first saw your design, I thought, it looked really elegant. And it definitely was intuitive. It was something that I looked at and right away I could certainly figure out what we were trying to accomplish here. Is just the durability factor and whether or not this can stand up to, playing golf. The other piece too, though, was definitely the naming of it. So dial shot. I do like the idea of calling it, dial with that watch reference, but dial shot to me felt a little disjointed. So I felt maybe there was a little bit of tweaking that could certainly go on there. But overall, certainly something that we could do a little bit of tweaking to.
You're carving quite a bit of the sole away again, and it's going to lose some speed top and bottom on the face. So maybe you want to address that in some way, build this wall up around the edge or something to put some material back there.
For me, it's like a yin and yang. You can have a great technology, but if you can't humanize that, then it's just going to get all lost.
I'm a little concerned that people might see this and be a little intimidated by it. It's fairly intuitive in how it works, but there's a lot of little pieces to kind of screw and unscrew and get just right and lock in before you tighten everything down. So for an advanced tinkerer, they might like that. For someone who's a little bit more, kind of just wants something that's going to work, that might scare them away. So that's just something to think about as you're moving forward. How do I make this not, something that's easy to approach and not overly intimidating? Because right now, if I see these, they almost have to be made out of like cast iron to actually affect the way you want. Right. But that's just going to be push and pull and work with the engineers.
For Alan, inspiration comes in many forms, all readily available just outside his Brooklyn doorstep.
Today, as an industrial designer, I'm really excited to work on products that really lives at the intersection of technology, human factors, and art. Because I really believe that you need all of those three ingredients to create great products. I'll go for a walk, I'll try to clear my mind, go back to the square one and try to look at it as everything was possible. How could this product look like? Or how could this idea come to life? Then I sit down and do a lot of sketching. I'm just visualizing my ideas. Often what happens that you end up dismissing a lot of ideas and try to hone into design directions. What directions are really going to be a compelling story and something that people can relate to and get people excited. I realize that every project that I'm working on, I am learning so much. Golf clubs have been developed for so many years and there's so many great ideas and I love the challenge. For me, it's just incredible when you look at all the materiality and every idea that has been tested. I realize that it's very constrained. There's so many rules and there's so many regulations that we have to follow. But I'm very confident that my experience and my design thinking actually is going to put me apart from the competition.
Tim Swiss's design is solid. It catches your attention right from the get-go.
It catches your eye, but it doesn't feel like there's anything superfluous or extraneous. It's things that are there for a purpose, and I like that. I think that's good for a consumer to see because it's easy to understand, but it doesn't feel understated. It still definitely draws you in. So I think that's really well done.
Come back to that same problem again of depressing the sole plate.
Right.
And lose some speed there and there. But at the end of it, it's got to perform as well as everyone else's driver.
Of course.
And so you can't start diminishing moment of inertia. Mm-hmm. And so some clever thinking of how to build up the mass away from the center of mass to get that back. And it's that axis that's affected.
Okay.
How much are you able to, do you think, move the center of gravity in this? I mean, obviously you don't know numbers yet. This hasn't been done, but.
I mean, it's hard to say. I honestly don't know. In terms of angle, I mean, that was sort of a proof of concept idea, and I had 5 degrees of movement there. Okay. So it's going to be a fine line of removing weight, like you said, versus trying to see what effect that has on the club speed.
I thought the Widowmaker was a unique design. Adjustable weights are pretty much mandatory these days.
I think it was excellent feedback. It's all very valid points, and I think they had they brought up some good ideas.
For family man Tim Swiss, his focus at home in North San Diego County never wavers far from his craft.
I've always been pretty artistic, and I've always really enjoyed drawing. So I think my love for design sort of comes from that. I also like to build and put things together. Really, industrial design is sort of the culmination of those two aspects. And it's It's really all about creating and building things and actually getting them produced and made. I like to work on cars, so I have a, not really an old car, but a car I'm restoring, 2001 Audi TT. Again, not that old or cool, but it's fun to work on, and it's sort of the epitome of a designer's car. Overall design mantra would be, one, you want to improve whatever you're working on. No one wants to just put out another version of what's already out there. It is my hope on every project that I work on to make something unique that in the end gives your clients an edge on the competition.
Tim Slama, come on up.
The whole morphing surface on the top, I think it's cool. His infinity type approach, I think it needs to be refined a bit, but the main idea is there with the adjustability. So I think he's got a chance as long as he can turn it into something that becomes like a cohesive, marketable product.
So I wondered if maybe this particular design wouldn't benefit from slightly shifting this off axis and having the 8 actually a little bit more on an angle, so that if you were to put a little bit more on the heel, it would actually be further to the heel to help kind of shape the ball left to right, right to left. I was a little concerned that the naming felt a little younger, whereas the technology and the fitting component was maybe going to be designed a little bit more for somebody, maybe slightly older. It's got to be very simple to be able to get across so that we can kind of hit on some main points. So,
oh yeah,
sure.
Definitely. Thank you for the feedback.
My thinking was that it should be right across.
Yeah, that's what Rick Shields said during the thing, and I thought that was a great idea.
And also, it doesn't need to be symmetrical to look like infinity. I'd like to see it sitting in about the back 2/3 of the sole plate.
Yeah, to move that MOI.
Because the COM of the head itself is about here, so putting weights in front of that isn't going to make much difference to us. Because the forces are from here, right?
Right,
and it bulges the crown up, so you've got a lot of bending stresses.
Sure.
And I think that you would find that advanced carbon fiber composites are better than you can do with some metal alloys. If you do that, the forces are tremendous during the strike. If you get a strike at the top of the head,
right,
110 miles an hour, it's 3,000 pounds, a ton and a half.
Right.
And it's over in about a 50th of an eye blink. So the stress waves going out there are just enormous. And that interface there is very vulnerable.
Yeah, I think the last thing I want to say, with all the trabecular, right?
Yeah.
I think if you can figure out how to save weight on the top and put it other places, that's always a good thing to do.
Yeah,
so
thanks.
I'd continue to pursue that as long as it's holding up to the 1.5 tons and half of whatever eye blink that Peter said.
50th of an eye blink.
50th of an eye blink, sorry. The thing that is tricky about that, though, is it's invisible technology. And while that can sometimes be a good thing, it's hard for a consumer to pick it up and know that there's something happening. So a way to communicate, there's something happening in here that you can't see. Otherwise, you have to really lean on the sales associate or a marketing message to tell that. And people want to just pick up the club and see it work. Right.
From Eric's standpoint, he's gone through the process and he knows what it takes to win. To listen to his feedback, it might be the most important of all. The experts aren't there to point out flaws and be like, as if it's wrong. They're pointing stuff out that they think can be changed to make your driver better.
We know it's been a long day. We seriously hope you listened to the experts and really thought about what their ideas were. As I said earlier, we're eliminating one design, and that time is right now. Jimmy?
Tim looked right at me, but I didn't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing.
We spent a lot of time back there listening to the conversation. Clearly, there was some concerns about adjustability of your design, and there's clearly quite a bit of work to be done.
Tim is a smart man. He knows his stuff. He's been in the industry for so long. That's what I felt he was doing with us. He was trying to lead us, push us to create this world-class design, which I know that I am striving for. So I thanked him for saying something like that, because it's just gonna make me work harder to get that W.
Tim Swiss, and listening to the experts, there's a lot of concern about the durability of that arm, and is there an ability to shift enough weight?
Honestly, like at that point, you can't change anything. So you just kind of go with it. You just gotta stick behind your design and see where it takes you.
Jeremy and the Launchpad design, we've listened really closely to the experts. They share similar concerns than we do. The function of taking the roof off the golf club, great idea, but how we actually put the weight inside and make it work, it's interesting. It's just how it develops into an actual product.
Well, I was surprised, yes. Thought I was in the clear, come to find that I'd have to sweat through another elimination, and I really was not sure if I'd make it.
Evan and the Cortex design, I mean, this is a fascinating idea with the inner structure. The experts and the judges, again, with the engineers, are just fascinated to how this is actually going to develop and how it can actually be durable enough through lots of testing.
The criticism was that they're still worried about the structure a little bit. And I know that might not be completely structurally sound now, but I know there are ways to get around that and to kind of reinforcing the internal structure I have.
Alan, there's a clear concern with the name of the product. You had taken a different approach in your design. You had worked on the craftsmanship first. As an expert panel and a judge panel, the real question is, can you get performance in that product?
I've done my best to present my idea, and I don't do a good job sometimes. And I think more maybe I become comfortable with my surroundings here. I might be able to really deliver on the vision I'm trying to create.
Tim Slama and Roswell. Clearly some concerns about the Roswell name and the generational aspect of the target market from a marketing perspective, but also a lot of concern about the ability to really adjust those weights and change the MOI in the perimeters for a fade or a draw bias. So we feel there's still quite a bit of work to be done.
Your palms start sweating and you keep wiping them off, you keep twitching and you do what you can, but it's just a part of the competition.
And our new team, Black Hornet, working together, you've managed to create a model that is much improved on the two previous models. Now, working as a team, is that going to gel or is that going to be harder? I think it's an improvement, but I think time will tell whether the team model will work for you guys.
I think we feel good. I mean, I really feel good about what we have. I think we're going to do really well in this competition, especially as this team grows. You know? I mean,
well, we are the team.
Yeah, we are. I mean,
we just need
but
more
as we
shirts.
grow, you know, yeah. I need a shirt. Hey, I feel left out.
Down
What the
Hornet.
heck?
Designers, and especially Jimmy, as you know, we've added a new component to this year's contest, the W giveaway, which moves you to the next round.
Tim looked right at me, but I didn't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. I immediately interpreted it as, I'll see where this goes.
After conferring with the experts and us as judges, we decided that at this point in time, nobody has a design this worthy. So, nobody is advancing with the W today.
Of course, we were all expecting who was gonna get it. When he said that it wasn't for any of us, I think that we just need to get to work. We honestly just need to get to work already.
Well, the time has come. One of the designs is going home.
Tim? Swiss. Unfortunately, your design does not make the cut.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's amazing. It's an amazing process, and thanks for making me a part of it.
One of the things that we did want to reiterate was we really came up with the concept of team pairing because of what we felt was probably one of the strongest combinations that could have been put into play, which would have moved that combined product to what we thought would be a favorite position. We're very sorry you just chose to go it alone, and we wish you the best.
Thank you very much. I don't regret not pairing up. I never came here expecting to pair up with somebody. I was going to go with what I had and believe in myself and just go with it. So that's what I did. Initial reaction was like, oh, obviously disappointment, but at the same time, it's just been an absolutely amazing experience.
I think Tim would still be here today if he would have teamed up. I had the same amount of confidence in my idea. I'd have made the same decision.
I don't know. I don't think he was expecting to go either. So when his name was called, I was I was kind of disappointed, but somebody has to go home. I mean, may the best design win.
I'm just gonna keep on working, and if anyone wants some good design work, let's do it.
Next time on Driver versus Driver.
Let me introduce to you the Magnus by Jimmy Hoon.
Designers have a chance to prove their ideas to the Wilson Staff Tour Pros. Some designs impress.
The sound and feel of this one is incredible.
Others implode.
Oh my. Think we just popped the hood.
When the dust settles, our final 6 will become our final 5.
The design that is missing the cut is